Hey y'all, this is my week 3 video, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the different forms of domestic violence, because domestic violence isn't always what you think it is. It's not just bruises and blood and cuts and scrapes and constant fear for your life, which is the really extreme end of the spectrum. But there is a whole spectrum, and some things are less overt or noticeable. For example, I was in a relationship in which I was made to feel guilty if my partner felt bad about anything. It was always my fault. Always my fault. If I didn't want to do something he wanted to do, he would bully and sulk until I finally agreed. He never told me what to wear, but he made it clear what he liked. And if I didn't look like what he wanted, I didn't get any attention. I was to always be docile and agreeable. Kind of like this seen but not heard. And I was always to look my best. He never hit me though. So I didn't think it was abuse. And whenever I talked to anyone about what was happening, they always asked if he hit me. And when I said no, it was like a change, like the tone of the conversation changed. And it made me feel like maybe I was overreacting. In another relationship, which lasted on and off for 10 years throughout my adult life, a man I'll just call my bear, he was always there for me. He was really wealthy. He helped me out of a lot of crazy situations. He took care of me. But I was never his girlfriend. He liked to show me off, and he liked to take me out to the clubs and spend money on me, but I needed more than that, because I didn't want to be that girl that was just about the money and going out, anyway, like, this dude would spend the night at my house, and when he left, he would leave a couple $100 on the nightstand. Me and my friend would joke about it. She called me Pretty Woman, like Julia Roberts, but, now when I think about it, that's really sad. It was really sad that I allowed that to happen, but I didn't think that it was abuse, and I didn't think what was happening was wrong. And I think that is, excuse me, I think that is a big part of the problem. There is this idea in our society that the active member in an abusive relationship is a bad person. And that physical abuse is really the only form of domestic violence. Okay, so, sorry. The result is that the receiving member does not think that their abuser is a bad person, as in my case. So I thought that none of it must be abuse. And if it's not abuse, I was probably doing something to attract or deserve that kind of attention. And it really wasn't that big of a deal. But that is fucking bullshit. It is bullshit. That's not okay. every single relationship, there is a honeymoon period. A period where, you're not annoyed by, the habits that your partner has are adorable, even if they may be annoying. And there really are no such thing as flaws. The first sweet part of the relationship. Every relationship has it. After a while, a lot of those things become obnoxious. But you don't want there to be flaws. You don't want that person to be annoying. And that is why we convince ourselves that the other person is perfect. The same goes for an abusive relationship, except that admitting that the other person has flaws is not merely a concession that the other person is imperfect, but it is admitting that they are dangerous, and that there is no love. So in my case, as in so many other cases, to protect myself, I thoroughly convinced myself that everything was fine. And for 10 years, I did this in every single relationship that I was in. From the time I was 19 till the time I was, from the time I was 18 till the time I was 28. I always seemed to be in these relationships where I wasn't being respected. And I didn't think it was domestic violence because I wasn't getting hit. And it's embarrassing to admit the psychological and mental abuse, emotional abuse that happens when you're in a relationship like that. I didn't want to repeat to people what was being said to me at any time in most of my relationships. It was embarrassing for me. And it was embarrassing for me that I didn't know how to, just leave, because it's not that easy. So, I hope this helps. I hope, that domestic violence isn't just hitting a man, or a woman for that matter. A person doesn't hit you for it, doesn't need to hit you for it to be domestic violence. It takes on so many different forms, like I kind of described, emotional, psychological, sexual. Don't be ashamed. And if you feel like you're in a situation like that, reach out for help. And get out. You deserve more than that. We all deserve more than that, no matter what. So I hope you believe that, because I believe in you. And I'm here rooting for you. And I hope you all have a wonderful night.